For your consideration, the Jericho.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 3 Seconds to Midnight. Wow.
President Joe Biden reversing a long-standing U.S. policy involving the war in Ukraine. Biden now going to allow Ukrainian forces to use long-range U.S. weapons inside of Russia for the very first time. CNN's Kevin Liptak is traveling with the president in Brazil. Kevin, what more are you learning?
Yeah, this is a major change in American policy, and it comes at a critical point in the war in Ukraine as Russian forces mass in the city and around the city of Kursk as they prepare for an offensive there, and as North Korea has sent thousands of its troops to fight alongside Russia in that conflict. President Biden making this decision to allow Ukraine to fire the American ATACMS missiles inside Russia for the first time. And this had been the subject of a long-running debate inside the American government about the wisdom of allowing Ukraine this new capability. There were officials who were concerned about the risk of escalation in this war. That's something that President Biden has been concerned about throughout the conflict. You also heard officials worry about the stockpiles of ATACMS. These are not resources in endless supply. At the end of the day, the addition of the North Korean troops to this conflict certainly has created a new sense of concern in Washington about where this war could be headed. It's a subject of conversation that President Biden has had throughout his trip this week in South America. He discussed it earlier in Lima, Peru, with the leaders of Japan and South Korea. He also discussed it yesterday with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, trying to apply pressure on Beijing, to apply pressure on its largest, or on North Korea, which is China's largest trading partner, to try and convince Kim Jong-un that this was a mistake and that it could put his own troops at risk. But now this decision, I think, certainly for American officials, they do hope that it could help turn the tide in this conflict, but also send a signal to countries like North Korea that it sends its troops into this war at their own peril. Federico.
Well, this is just another reason why America's going to lose, because not only are we destroying ourselves from within for propaganda, extremism, just hateful rhetoric, us versus them, Democrat versus Republican, white versus black, man versus woman, normal people, I guess, versus trans, and all this other stuff that's going on. While at the same time you're voting the very same people into your cities, into your governorships and local legislations that are enacting the very same agendas that you got a problem with ultimately. But you can't say it now because, only the few that are, brave to say it out loud, because otherwise you get canceled now. But then this is the same group talking about, Trump is a Marxist and, fascist and all this kind of other stuff, when the other side is employing those very same tactics to silence people from saying the actual truth, because common sense isn't so common after all. This is just one of those things that you say is not common sense at all, because Biden, he's probably a lamed up president at this point. He pretty much don't have any control right now, but yet he is going to pretty much take a shit on the Oval Office on his way out. I expect nothing less from this administration at this point. Let's just be honest. And a lot of people are not even paying attention to stuff like this because they're too busy worried about their pronouns and killing babies. But this is something you should be concerned about, because it's just another big leap into the world of World War III, because as you heard in the clip, we're not just talking about Ukraine and Russia. It's deeper than that, because, of course, North Korea is concerned, China's concerned. It's very interesting that all the pieces in World War III are lining up between the NATO, America, Israel versus the BRICS organization, and yet you see common sense. You can get to the point where you can see common sense. It's right there. It's looking you right in the eye of things you should not be doing, and yet this administration and the people that support and of their ilk seem to go the opposite way every time. So, in a nutshell, get ready, folks. Next thing you know, you already seen bombs going over in Iran and Yemen and Israel. Don't be surprised you won't see bombs landing in Russia, which is going to trigger China and North Korea to step in, and we're just once again another big leap into the war of World War III. So apparently, the world has a new favorite flavor of disaster, and once again, it's confirmed to be the Biden-Harris administration.
But joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Look, folks, I'm not saying we're doomed, but just maybe we might want to consider buying a lifetime supply of sunscreen. So until next time, if there is a next time, join the countdown.